Hi, YouTube. Welcome on in. In case you guys don't know me, hi, my name is Ed. I'm a psychologist, and I tend to go ahead and do deep dives into anime, video games, everything in between, anything that you can imagine. We tend to go ahead and do a little bit of a deep dive. Today, we are playing What Remains of Edith Finch. I don't know much about the game. I actually don't know anything about the game. It was recommended to me in the Little Misfortune playthroughs and in Slay the Princess playthroughs. So I decided, hey, it's a cozy Sunday. It's a relaxed Sunday. Might as well jump into it and see what people are talking about. Now, in case you guys are new to my playthroughs and to the way that I analyze things, I stop, I talk, I analyze quite a lot. So grab a drink, grab a snack, as we're going to be talking and analyzing and doing pretty much anything and everything possible to make sure that we're able to go ahead and dive in deep and really enjoy the games that we're playing. If you guys have any other recommendations for future games for us to play, please leave them down in the comments down below. That way we're able to go and get to them. Join our Discord, because I'm pretty sure that we're going to throw up some polls as well. So for some of these games, so for example, some of the games that have been downloaded because people have recommended them are To the Moon, Death Stranding, of course. We also have The Beginner's Guide, and then I believe we have a couple others that are waiting on the list as well. So if you guys have any game recommendations, please let them know. Every Friday and Sunday, we also play a game after the animes. And with that being said, let's jump right into What Remains of Edith Finch. Let's do it. All right. First off, just taking a look at this environment. It's beautiful, but the fog is like, I don't know. It instantly gives you vibes of where you are. That's actually kind of impactful that a game like, the intro to this game, the first thing that you see is literally just fog. You're out in the middle of the ocean. You're hearing this. All right, let's look at this. Edith Finch.
A lot of this isn't going to make sense to you.
Can you guys hear that?
Sorry about that. I'm just going to start at the beginning with the house.
Just trying to make sure that if I raise up the volume for you guys, that you guys are able to go ahead and hear them. Background music, check. You guys can hear the music? Okay. Perfect. So what a way to start off this story, right? One of the things...
Someone had put up a chain link fence, but it looked like I wasn't the first person to hop it.
Ooh. Okay.
My brother Milton disappeared when I was 4. It was like the house just swallowed him up.
It was like the house just swallowed him up. You are standing on a path. Something that stands out to me in situations like this is, first off, the immediacy of what we're getting from, number one, this seems to be, I guess, family related, Milton Finch. And then when we look at the background of this, it seems to be like a line of the Finches, right? Don't get me wrong, I know that's what it says in there. But look at the way that this is all diverging. It's like, starts off with Oda and Eddie, right? It's like a main branch in here. But where does the main branch keep going? Or does it stop here, 2010, 2003, 1999 through whatever, right? Even more so. Oh, I can't see my hands. Is the person on the boat the same person that we're playing as right now? Is what we're reading through on here already like happening? Is it like currently happening, or is it something that already happened and we're getting that reflection? Because it started off with the story, right? The first narratives, like the first little sentences that we got, introduced us into this game. So it's making me wonder, like, number one, it feels as though everything, if you look at the environment, the way that this is built, is pointing towards the house, right? And it's pointing towards that being the grander scale of things, which is what makes it beautiful that you can do this with games, is set up a distinct visual that a lot of individuals won't get to go and see. So the house overtowers a lot of the like forest, the nature around, so on and so forth. And of course, you see this rocky terrain that's kind of unkempt, but it kind of feels like nature, like you're like, this is destiny, this is where you're supposed to go. Yes, is it out of place? It is, but at the same time it's bigger than everything else around it. So in a way it's giving us this perspective. And by the way, in psychology, oftentimes when individuals are set in a set path, right, it takes a lot of work to see around the set path or be able to go ahead and expand their horizon. So I know we're touching on a lot of different elements really, really quickly. It's always just important to see, hear, understand, take in the environment, take in the dialogue as to what's happening. And even more so, Milton Finch. So he died in 2003, according to this. Our date missing is 2003. Okay. So it makes me wonder, what are we dealing with here? Like, what specifically are we dealing with that this feels like a grand journey? Anyway, sorry, chat. I'm a yap master and I know it, but this is so beautiful.
I lived here until I was 11, but I wasn't allowed inside half the rooms.
Ooh. The reason why I did that, I guess I'm wondering a couple of things. Number one, seeing the text pop up like this. I'm guessing, is this like the person on the boat at the very beginning? Was this Edith's journey, like journal? Because he picked it up, you chained it, and then like words are appearing above as though we're going through their perspective. So I'm guessing that this person that we're playing with, right, is more than likely, or Edith as we see here, are more than likely playing in the past, right? Oh, fudge. Oh, okay. This is gonna be interesting. Island Gazette.
Inside the mailbox were bills from 7 years ago, marked urgent, open immediately.
That, and then her hands doesn't have like a cast or anything. Damn.
I hadn't been back since my brother Lewis's funeral.
So then this house probably has a lot of like trauma to it, right? Like your brother passed away. Um, your brother Lewis passed away. So it's like you probably associate this place with not the greatest memories either.
In her will, my mother left me a key, but didn't tell me what it unlocked. Maybe she thought I'd know. Or she thought that the mystery would be enough to bring me back.
Ooh. Okay, we can go down or we can go up. Either way, either path, I assume is gonna take us there. She cooking.
No one had driven this way in a long time, but I saw a few hoof prints.
Okay. But doesn't this place, like this house and everything, just seem so lonely to you guys? Like as we're transversing through this entire thing, doesn't it seem kind of lonely and like desolate and scary? Like for me, if I was living here, I'd be terrified. Oh my God, dear. Hello, dear. Hello, Papa dear. Isolated, yeah.
The truth is, even after I inherited the house, I never thought I'd come back to it.
Oh.
But now I had questions about my family that only the house knew the answers to.
Ooh. So then you come back regardless of what. This is extremely unsafe. Oh my God. And they just kept building this up and up and up. Like, this is so unsafe. It's one earthquake, one tornado, a good gust of wind, and down goes the entire side of the house. But also, if you look at it, it looks as though it's like different themes all throughout. Like you have a little center probably to look at the stars, and it's like people just kept building and building and building and building on top of it. Reminds me of Codename Kids Next Door with the treehouse. But also, whenever I see something like this, it makes me wonder what was the foundation that caused all of this expansion to keep happening and why, right? Also, why did you come back to this house? Like, what drove you back to this? Could be the mystery, could be anything else, but also for oneself, right? Yo, what's up, Otaka? How you doing?
The house was exactly like I remembered it, the way I'd been dreaming about it.
Doing good, man.
As a child, the house made me uncomfortable in a way I couldn't put into words.
Sure.
Now, as a 17-year-old, I knew exactly what those words were. I was afraid of the house.
How many of you guys would be afraid of this house? I know I would. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I'd be terrified of this house. And the reason why I would be terrified of this house, aside from like standards of like, can you actually live in it? How long will it stand? Nice. Wait to tell us what yearish it places. I see you went from princess waifus to architect waifus. Because for me, this is highlighting is the overgrown nature, the cemented nature as to what's to come. The people kept building and building on it. What was the main foundation that caused this house to be built and why? Also, they still have recycle bins? And no one came to collect the bins even after we stopped paying for rent? We stopped paying a bunch of bills? Huh?
Crawling through the doggy door used to be a lot easier when I was 11.
Why did I crawl? I don't know.
The power had been turned off the night we left.
Well, shit. What all happened?
For the first time in years, I felt like I was home.
There's a lot of weight to this.
But instead of a family, there were just memories of one.
Right. Well, hey, at least you had a filter for your water system here. You know that you were being kept in a good environment if you got a water-filtered system here. The Holiday Witch's Kitchen, the Viking's Belly. Wow, that's a lot of loving memory of Edith Finch. Beloved brother to Edith, son of Don, great-grandson to Eddie. Oh. Where's the dad? Where's the dad in this? Or anybody else? Don, Edith, Eddie, Lewis.
Like how after Lewis started working at the cannery, we all got sick of eating salmon. Except our cat, Molly.
I hope you took the cat with you. 6 cups of sliced peeled syrup. It's a lot of sardine, my God. A lot of tuna.
Nothing in the house looked abnormal. There was just too much of it, like a smile with too many teeth. My mom wasn't much of an optimist, but she never stopped believing that my brother Milton was alive. A lot of things got left behind in the whirlwind of that last night.
So what happened that we had to leave in such a hurry in an environment like this? Unless there was something so foundationally broken. Hold on. Okay, there we go. I know you guys can't see it. You guys will in a second here. It's making me wonder. Usually whenever it comes to fight or flight or a situation like this, it's because there's a crack. This is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And usually when individuals go through big instances of displacement or go through instances where they have to rush out of an environment or whatnot, it's because one of these, right, is being threatened. And by one of these, I mean any of these foundational support structures: security of body, employment, resources, morality, health, family, breathing, food, shelter, sleep, homeostasis, excretion, so on and so forth. What happened? What revelation came through? And then if they were all together, they were already dealing with friendship or family issues or the loss of a loved one, so on and so forth, caused this crack to happen for them to leave in the whirlwind of the events that might have happened. There's a lot of interesting questions that come out for me in this regard, because it's important to know, right? First off, let's turn VSync on. We don't need to be ultra for a game like this, you know. Anyway, let me go back to playing it. There's just a lot of questions that come to mind in this regard, because we have to take that into consideration. And second off, well, I hope you guys don't mind. I'm going to keep doing this because it's a lot easier for me to talk a little bit and explain sort of my perspective of things. Hold on. I'm trying to get it where it's, I can go from one side to another without fully disrupting it. Full windowed. Okay, whatever. It's going to be disrupted, whether I like it or hate it. Okay, let's talk about this. We're trying to keep you out or keep you in. For Edith here, 1999 to 2003. Okay. Milton was, what, like 10, 11? How far are we in? We just got started, Radox. What do you guys think, like, the first trauma that she's already mentioned has come from? as a developmental milestone that we're looking in. This is Erickson's developmental theories. There are a lot of milestones in life that we have to hit as we're going through, right? So when I'm looking at this, almost immediately, she was like 4, right? And there's already a trauma there of losing a loved one. Now, can that impact an individual going forward? Yes, right? It absolutely can. Children need to begin asserting control and power over their environment. Success in this state leads to a sense of purpose. Children who try to exert too much power experience disapproval, resulting in a sense of guilt. It makes me wonder, in a way, say her brother disappearing, her brother dying, whatever may have happened. Do you guys think that the sense of guilt was exacerbated throughout Edith's life because she's now what, like 17 or something? Who am I? Where am I going? Social identity and relationships are the key aspects in there. And with guilt playing a role for every milestone going forward, do you think that this is a huge aspect as to why she may have come back? Because a big aspect of guilt is not just like that, it's also losing another brother. It's also the big aspect of like, the whole change up and everything that may have happened. All this giant push for things may have led for her to come back to this environment. In a big way, you have to think about hurt people, and trauma can cause us to traumatize all that's left, right? It's that self-narrative that she's using, right? In a big way, we can decide to come back to our place of trauma, not necessarily for resolution, as most might want to go ahead and do, but to try and see if that can ease an aspect of guilt. Guilt that we left, guilt that we're not there, guilt that we haven't found the solutions for things. And again, initiative versus guilt, autonomy, shame and doubt, trust and mistrust, industry and inferiority, and identity versus role confusion. As long as she is able to go ahead and, like, a big aspect for a lot of people that feel guilt, especially growing up, is they feel as though, I don't know how many of you guys have heard of this, like individuals that want to go back in order to stop either a cycle of trauma, a cycle of hurt, a cycle of understanding, so that their kids don't get it, right? Or their kids don't become who they are, or their family members can learn from them. I've seen that a lot of times from individuals that come into therapy, individuals that come in for help for, either their peer supports, case managers, therapists, psychologists in their teams that try and help them go ahead and deal and process this. And in a big aspect or a big effort, it comes from that individual internalizing things and being able to go and say, hey, you know what, for me, being able to go to learn about my brothers and, coming back to this house is a big way of them closing a chapter. Sorry, it might not have anything to do with this game, but it's just reminding me of a lot of these themes. And as I'm presenting, as I'm talking about these themes, they may or may not make sense in any capacity. But it's like, if I'm looking at Edith, the first thing that I'm looking at is, number one, that philosophy of I'm all that's left, right? Big one. Number two, as pointed out over here by Lithius. Number two, the main aspects of like, okay, when did you first have your first major traumas, right? Did you lose a family, a loved one? Tell me a little bit about this. We start cementing a little bit more of this ideology or these questions that are coming through. It's all foamed up. All right, let's investigate the. Hello.
Great Grandpa Sven built a music box for Barbara, along with the rest of the house. Mom always told me to stay out of the basement, so I wasn't too surprised when the key didn't fit. Even the fireplace had a story. Edie told me the bricks came from the original house, after it sank.
After it sank? I'm guessing that's what the original house might have looked like. Damn! I mean, it's a beautiful house. At least after 7 years or however many years, I would be kind of scared of mold, though. Like, especially if no one was taking care of it. Damn. Anyway. It's a nice view. A lot of books, though.
The table was still a wreck from the night we left. My mom was the only one of us who could imagine Great-Grandma Edie living in a nursing home.
Oh, her oxygen tank and everything is in here.
It was like a bomb had gone off, killing everyone but sparing the furniture.
Yeah. Yeah. From the looks of it. Jesus. All right, chat. I guess we're going up the stairs. Hold on. Let me take a seat. Let me take a seat. Let me take a seat. All right, let's go. But my thing is, how many houses are like this where it's nothing but a pail of memories for individuals in the pictures and whatnot that they might have taken.
After Milton disappeared, Mom sealed up all the bedrooms.
What do you mean? What do you mean Mom sealed up all the bedrooms?
Then Edie retaliated and drilled peepholes.
So Mom, that doesn't sound like the healthiest relationship. Mom sealing up the bedrooms?
The last time I was in Edith Sr.'s room, I was 10 and she was painting my portrait.
That's crazy. 2019. That's crazy. A good old American bedroom.
My Grandpa Sam spent 7 years sharing a room with his dead brother, Calvin.
And no one thought about like reworking it, reframing it. 7 years. They even put like a little cord that goes all the way through to preserve it. That's wow. So some people not necessarily wanting to go ahead and I'm assuming that that's him. Move on.
As a kid, I just assumed every house had peepholes and sealed rooms you weren't allowed inside of.
No. That's an insane invasion of privacy. And like, imagine someone pooping there. And you just zoom in and like they're at their most vulnerable state. Like, this is not okay. Like, doing this, right? Cementing this, it's... Ooh. At what point does this become, aside from boundary violation, because it is a boundary violation for people in here, right? How can you poop in there when it was sealed closed? Why is there a name tag on a bathroom? True. Actually, true. Gregory, 1976 to 77. Unless this is where people passed away. Because this only says Calvin. This says Gregory. So I'm assuming that Gregory died in here. And this is Fen and Eddie. And this doesn't say Sam. So I'm assuming, yeah, I'm assuming that in a big way this is to go ahead and like keep their memories entombed. So they seal the doors in kind of the same way that you would for a grave. That's still... Whoa. How comfortable would you guys be with the peephole leading to your bedroom, or leading into your room, or leading into your shower, leading into whatever? Yeah. It's a memorial. Molly, 1937 to 1947.
Molly always seemed like a girl I could imagine being friends with, if she hadn't died in 1947.
So why are so many people like I hate to put it this way, dead in this house. Like, why are so many people dead in this house? The house became more of a mausoleum. Yeah.
I spent a lot of time playing in Great Uncle Walter's room.
Mm.
I think my mom sometimes regretted not sealing it up. Lewis told me there were secret passages, but I never believed him. Turns out, my mom was really good at keeping secrets.
Oh, what the?
Now it was time to find out what my mom had been afraid of.
Oh, what the fudge? What? That's the game. That's the game. Hold on. There's gonna be more rooms for us to see. Barbara, 1944 to 1960s.
Barbara was a child star for 2 years, until America grew out of it.
Yeah, you definitely get the feel for this. But the way that they're memorialized and stuff, like, how long did these people live?
Edie's father, Odin, built the original house.
What is this? 16 years for Barbara? So she was young. A lot of these people...
Mom must have locked the third floor stairs on the night we left.
Yeah, Barbara was young. And they're all kind of just stuck in time. Does the bottom one have a people? I don't know, man. Growing up in a house like this with all the doors locked like this...
Edie told me once that every Finch who ever lived is buried somewhere in the library.
What? What? You need to get away from this house. You need to, like, legitimately sell the house, get away from it, do something completely different. For me, this is telling me that there's a lot of trauma bent up in here, and that in a weird way, you might come here to get closure or something, but it's continuing the cycle of whatever this is, of trauma, of whatnot. Like I guess having this journal and whatnot, in a big way, if you look at it, it's a cycle of trauma that people are keeping on. And going on through and touching base with all these other things, how do we end this cycle of trauma? Let's get away from here as quick as we can, please. All right, let's go.
From the paintings on the wall, it was clear my brother Milton had been here before me.
Oh.
Reading this, maybe it sounds like I had a plan.
What do you mean?
But I had no idea what was behind that door. Just like I had no idea where all this was gonna lead.
Oh no. Oh no.
I grew up looking at Molly's room through the peephole. Molly's gerbil had a tiny bedroom with its own even tinier gerbil cage.
Oh no.
Being inside for the first time, I felt like I'd stepped behind a painting.
The Jungle Book, Birds of Pacific Northwest. It's kind of crazy, I ain't gonna lie.
I got the sense Edie had spent a lot of time here.
Sure.
Before my mom sealed the doors.
Dear
December 13th, 1947. Dear Diary, I'll be gone soon, but I wanted to tell somebody about what's gonna happen. It started when Mom sent me to bed without dinner.
What?
I woke up and I was starving, so I looked around for something to eat.
Don't tell me.
The gerbil food was dry, but I didn't mind it. My Halloween candy was all gone. I kept eating and eating.
Oh no.
I ate a lot of things that night.
Oh no.
Then I heard chirping outside my window. It was a barn swallow going back to her nest. I reached out for her. And suddenly, I was a cat.
Eh?
I tried to be quiet, but the bird was really scared.
Was she imagining?
Mom and Dad didn't even look at me.
But why didn't they send you to get food? Why did they send you without food?
I jumped and I almost got her. I could tell she was getting really tired. Now I was up in the big tree. I promised Dad I wouldn't climb it anymore. All I cared about was eating that mama bird. I gobbled her up. And suddenly, I was an owl.
Oh shit, what?
First, all I heard was the wind. Then I heard little teeth nibbling in the grass.
What?
Rabbits. I imagined his face looking up and seeing mine through my talons.
What the?
I swallowed him up, and I didn't chew one bit. Then I flew off to find something bigger. A mama rabbit.
Oh, a mama rabbit. Well, mama rabbit. Ah!
She was almost too big to carry. I started choking, but I couldn't stop eating.
Ooh.
And suddenly, I was a shark.
This anthropomorphism. What the fuck? They see me rolling.
I rolled off a cliff and into the ocean. Now, I was hungrier than ever. I wanted fat, juicy seals.
Take a bite.
I tore off her flipper, and it tasted really good.
Why is this so dark, bro?
I grabbed on tight, but I was so hungry, I jumped out of the water. When I opened my eyes, everything had changed.
What am I?
Now I was a monster, and I smelled people everywhere.
Oh God, her perception of animal, yeah.
I was big, but I moved real quiet.
Ugh. Okay. Oh. Those little kids' imaginations.
I wanted to stop, but also I didn't.
I am the Kraken. I am the captain now. Ooh.
After the last passenger, I was still hungry.
Damn.
And across the water, I smelled something new. Something I had to have, so I swam towards it.
Mm-hmm.
I slithered onto the sand, and the good smell went into an old pipe.
Mm-hmm. Yo, this is kind of dark. The more I'm like, wait a minute. Oh, no way. No way.
I got closer and closer.
No way. Okay, well, it's definitely not this way. Am I smelling a gerbil or am I smelling me?
All my stomach started growling. And suddenly, I was me again. I held my breath for a long time, but I couldn't hear anything. I think it's waiting for me to fall asleep. But it's not going to wait much longer. It needs to feed, and we both know I will be delicious.
What the fuck, bro? What the fuck? Oh, no.
I'm not sure if I believed all of that. but I'm sure Edie would have.
What? Okay, let's be honest here, right? Unfortunately, what I do think might have happened
I
here.
can't describe it, but I felt like some part of Molly was still here.
Yeah. Unfortunately, what I can say is like her just going around and eating stuff like the gerbil food and other stuff could it have caused her to like poison herself and or die in the process or like hallucinate these things. I think so. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I think probably going around eating toothpaste, eating the random things that were out there, eating the gerbil food, like going around eating all this stuff. Like if she was sent there hungry, like it's more than likely going to affect her in some capacity, which is oh, there's the cat, and there was the cat. Oh my goodness. Wait, I won't go out yet.
This will be obvious later, but my mom never told me any of these stories.
Right.
Edie would have, but Mom didn't like bringing up the past. Though, when we adopted a stray kitten, she was the one who named it Molly.
Oh. Oh. Poor girl, my God. Living.
I spent a lot of time in Great-Grandma Edie's room.
That she died because of starving illusion. Could absolutely be, like, you know, especially if she was being sent continuously without being fed. She can die because of starvation and illusion, but like if she's eating gerbil food and like a bunch of things she's not supposed to, the plastic decorations and toothpaste and whatnot, it can definitely affect you, especially if you're on an empty stomach. Oh, Loopy! All these birds too, and a snake. Bob the snake. Oh my goodness.
Louis died a week before we left, but Edie had already started to memorialize him. Her room was like a museum.
This entire house is like a museum. What are you talking about?
For 500 years, the Finches have been famous throughout Norway for their fortune and misfortune.
Okay.
Odin Finch buries the latest victims of the family curse, his wife Ingeborg and their newborn son, Johann. On January 7th, 1937, he set sail with his family and his house, hoping to leave the curse behind. But 40-foot waves off the coast of Washington send the house and Odin to the bottom of the sea. Odin's daughter Edie, with husband Sven and baby Molly, step ashore on their new home, Orcas Island. Odin Finch is the first to be buried in the new family cemetery. His daughter Edie is already dreaming of a new Finch house.
Right. Okay, how do I exit this? There we go.
Whatever's wrong with this family, it goes back a long ways.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. But that might have just been a misfortune, like, instrument. Doesn't necessarily mean more than that, you know? Should have used a balloon method.
Edie knit me a new pair of gloves every year, just in time to replace the old ones.
Aww.
When Edie told people Sven was killed by a dragon, she could also have said he was building a dragon-shaped slide that collapsed. She could have, but she didn't.
Oh, God. Oh, God. $1937.
One summer, they evacuated the island, but Edie refused to go. For a few weeks, she was a celebrity.
Edie won't go.
I hadn't thought of myself as Edith Jr. for a long, long time.
Oh,
Edie gave a big interview about a mole man living under the Finch house. My mom was furious.
The mole man. But this house has so much history and whatnot.
Even in her 90s. Sometimes Edie seemed a lot younger than my mother.
I guess my question comes in with this. How many of you guys would want to leave this history behind? Especially considering the amount of, like, trauma that is layered in here and the amount of, like, death and, you know, curse, I guess, if you want to put it that way, that's in this house. Would you guys just want to go? Would you guys come back to this, or would you guys just try and move on with your lives? Oh, and here's the restroom.
The only trace Grandpa Sam's first wife, Kay, left on the house was the pink bathroom.
Overly pink, too.
It was a pretty big trace.
Yeah. Carpet in the restroom, bold choice.
There's a secret in this bathroom. It's in the last place you would look. It isn't in the cupboard. It's hidden in this book.
Okay, the amount of secrecy that this house has. God! No one could go to the restroom in peace.
He'd refurbished. He never put it down.
Oh, but also, more secrets. Calvin Finch. That's wild. The amount of secrets that everyone has in this house, and the amount of, like, doors after like hidden doors all together. I feel like for me, I wouldn't feel comfortable being in this house in of itself, you know. Oh. All right, chat. We're navigating from room to room here. And he never got a bigger bed? Even though my dude... And he never got a bigger bed. Sheesh. My God. Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the Starship. Start doing the whole,
I
like...
knew Grandpa Sam had a twin.
Right. Oh.
And that he never talked about him.
Oh. And his bridge is just completely disconnected because he didn't need to go back up there again. Wow. Wow. High school, so he graduated. Department 120% department grade in this quarter. 1967 to 1968. Sam and Calvin. Yeah, it'll be going up on YouTube, my friends. No worries. I'm just taking this in because for me, it's like this is a lot of history, and for a lot of families, like the histories contain a lot of clues and a lot of Okay. Hungry Caterpillar. I remember this book. What in the world? No. Before we go in there, hold on. I'm still not done seeing his room. I'll be back though. No one else, no villains in here. To command center. The command
center. My grandpa didn't like history any more than my mom did.
Whew.
How I Want to Remember My Brother by Sam Finch. The thing I remember is that when he made up his mind, That was it.
Uh-huh.
My brother said he'd die before he ate another mushroom. And he did.
Oh.
At Barbara's funeral, we swore we'd never be afraid again. And he wasn't. I think Calvin always wanted to fly.
Sam! Calvin! Dinner's ready! Coming!
But that day, he finally made up his mind to do it.
No.
I told him going around was impossible. Maybe if I hadn't said that.
Calvin, I'm not gonna tell you again.
No.
When 10 picked up. Then maybe he'd still be here. But I doubt it. I think he'd already made up his mind.
He was gonna do it with or without you.
That's what I want to remember about my brother.
Sorry, chat. Oh, God.
The day he made up his mind to fly. And he did.
Calvin's story felt strangely familiar. When I was younger, I remember trying to do the exact same thing.
We drop it. Oh, shit. Okay, is anybody else catching that at some point in time there's some like suicidal tendencies that seem to come through? Molly, Calvin, like Molly was 10, right? Calvin was 11. And it's like Molly with the whole eating food, continuously eating stuff that she's not supposed to. Calvin with, you know, trying to go up and above. And of course, they can all be considered, oh, well, they were kids. They were just, you know, they weren't really thinking. They just wanted to go ahead and do something in that. It's that reckless endangerment, right? They rebuilt the swing, I think. They're just trying to kill little kids. But for me, it's just something that's being highlighted continuously as we're going through it, which is like, it seems as though a big aspect of things is like the endangerment or the bigger push that comes through with it causes them to put their lives at risk when it shouldn't be that way. And also that would be traumatizing as a kid. Imagine seeing your brother do a full flip and then literally like he's gone.
After the funeral, Edie roped off Calvin's half of the room.
Oh, of course.
Mom said Grandpa Sam enlisted at 18 and never set foot in the room again.
Of course. Imagine romanticizing his death like that. Yeah. Well, it's
The passages were a pretty tight fit. They'd obviously been built for smaller hands and bellies.
That way we're able to come back in here if needed. Oh, is this Barbara's?
Growing up, I always thought of Barbara as a child star.
Oh no. So let's dissect the rooms, right? Trauma by trauma by trauma is what this house is. With Uncle Sam and whatnot. That in of itself, that can change your entire dynamic and really cement the fact that like what all of this is, the insane amount of trauma, the insane amount of everything that comes through with it, losing your brother, losing a loved one, and then jumping into this one as well, whose memory of her was only lasted by the 2 years that she was in her film work. Damn.
I never thought about how hard it must have been for her afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, for her, how old was Barbara? 16. losing stuff is guest starring
Of all
Barbara.
the stories people wrote about Barbara's death, I'm surprised Edie saved this one.
Old Jack here with another ghastly tale inspired by America's most unfortunate family. I'm calling it The Surprise Ending of Barbara Finch.
Oh no.
As a child star, Barbara was famous for her scream. Now at 16, she was all washed up. A has-been. But in a lucky break, she'd been asked to perform her signature scream at a local convention for monster movie fans. It was just the boost her career needed. Unfortunately, her scream hadn't aged well.
Getting better. I think you just need the right motivation.
Her biggest fan and current boyfriend, Rick, was about to demonstrate when...
Now that was a great scream.
It was Barbara's father, Sven. He'd slipped into a table saw and had to be rushed to the emergency room.
Holy shit.
So Barbara got stuck babysitting her youngest brother, Walter. Her convention comeback was cancelled.
Holy shit.
Okay, I'm hearing frustration, but I'm not hearing terror. What if I tried...
A gang of hoodlums in Halloween masks have been terrorizing Orcas Island tonight. Police are urging residents to...
That came from the basement.
You're right! Also, I loved your delivery on that. Why is your basement door locked?
Because my dad likes making puzzles and secret passages. There's a key hidden in the music box. The secret is to keep winding and winding until finally the key pops out.
Thanks, babe. I'll be back in a sec.
Oh.
20 minutes later, Rick hadn't returned.
Oh.
So Barbara went to look for him, right on cue. She reached for the music box.
Uh-huh.
And as she wound the key, she listened for Rick, but the house was silent.
Hello? Housekeeping. Riku-chan. Oh yeah, this is... Oh no. What a creepy environment.
Relax. I was just trying to scare you to help you find your scream.
Why would you do
I'm
that,
not scared,
though?
Rick. I'm furious.
Then act furious. All I'm getting from you now is that you're hurt and confused and you're...
She threw him out, but she kept a little something to remember him by.
Barb, have you seen my other crutch?
And she was still holding it when she fell asleep watching the late picture show. Hours later...
Barbara! Walter, what's going on up there?
Oh no.
Ah! Okay, I'm coming up, but if this is a trick, you're dead, Walter.
Yo, what is this house then? Like, legitimately, what is this? How? Oh no. Lock it. Yeah. Let's do it. My God. Yeah, how did the comic book know about this secret? Yeah, but if I... Oh. Oh. That's right. Beat him up. Jump on his head. Jump on his head from here. From the top rope. From the top rope. Oh, no. Okay, careful. You don't want to go ahead and slip and fall and break your neck with that. Frog splash. Oh, no. Yes. Frog splash from the top rope here. Hold on, you gotta defend yourself. You gotta be able to...
Door. She heard whispering. It was coming from inside the house.
Oh dear.
Oh, no.
The monsters had come to surprise her. For Barbara, it was a dream come true.
That's not actually what
And
happened.
she saw what kind of monsters they were.
Oh, no.
And she realized what was about to happen. She was going to be famous. And with her final breath, Barbara Finch gave the performance of her life. I wasn't there myself, but I hear Barbara was magnificent. Poor girl. She had a taste for stardom.
What the
But
fuck?
unfortunately, so did her fans. Of course, the police blamed it all on poor Rick, who disappeared the same night.
The whole God hand is
And
there,
little
yeah.
Walter, hiding under his bed the whole time. He took it all pretty hard, but that's another story. As for Barbara, tucked
Then she
inside the
realized what
music
kind of
box
monsters they
is
were,
all
right?
they ever found of her. Her ear. Now that's what I call a real eerie tale.
What
Edie
the
told me all Barbara wanted was to be remembered, as absurd as that comic was. Maybe what Edie saw was a happy ending.
Is anyone else capting that, like, you know, of course, the police were talking about that, whatnot. But let's be real and let's be honest here. Unfortunately, what can happen in a lot of these like things, and especially if you know whatnot, there are really evil people out there in the world that are gonna do horrible things to you, and that can do horrible things to you. Why would you have this in the room of your murdered child? Right. From the top rope, Cam. That's why, like, whenever we're looking at this, it's the horrible people that were in here, aside from cutting her ear and, you know, wherever they might have placed her. It's just, wow. Wow. And her ear was found. Yeah. Yeah. Guys, we're going to take a quick little break. I'm not going to go into a be right back screen. I'm just going to go to the restroom. When we come back, we're going to finish up this game. It's amazing the layers of depth that this game has, and the fact that every family member that we're interacting with, like if the doors would have been locked, you know, so on and so forth, maybe some things could have been prevented in here. If there's a lot that we can touch on. Give me one moment. We'll be right back. Okay, I is back. Good pee. Good pee. Oh, I feel like Ed preferred this fan over imagining what sorts of things that the sicko could have done to her 16-year-old daughter. Oh, well, that's the thing is, I definitely can see or can imagine the horrible shit that these monsters would have probably have done to her, and that's why I like games like this, because it's like we're taking it at our own pace. We're breaking this down, and interestingly enough, it's like, for example, let's touch on this. If Molly would have had food the night before, like her unrivaled whatnot, do you guys think that she would have died? Or do you think that maybe it was her eating stuff that, like, you know, unfortunately led her to death? Calvin, same thing, right? If he wasn't encouraged to do a full one, you know, 360 on the thing, maybe he wouldn't have flown off the edge of the cliff. If the, you know, swing set wasn't built at the edge of the cliff there. Barbara, if I don't know, if the doors would have been locked and parents would have been home, you know, and people would have stayed, could she have survived? There's a lot of questions out there. It's a series of unfortunate events, but aside from that, it's also very trauma inducing and traumatizing altogether. My God. Some of it seems to be self-defeating behaviors, right? Given the comic, those details about the basement, right? Happy birthday, Barbara. And she was a smoker. Welcome to Barb Street. Where she worked at. Yeah, because
I guess now I know why Mom doesn't like me playing with the music box.
Makes sense.
Whenever people ask me about my family, the first thing they always want to know about is Barbara.
In the house planning. Oh, I mean, that would make sense as to why people want to know about her. All right. Let's go to the music box. No worries, Ninja Maid. No worries. Appreciate you. All right, let's come on down. This is... I don't know how they did it, to be honest with you. I'm like... So I'm assuming that the boyfriend is the one that gave the details to the comic book company, right? In order for them to actually know the details of the house and like how to open up like the basement door and whatnot. It had to have been the boyfriend of Barbara's that spoke to them about what happened that night. Except he apparently went missing that night. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Apparently. Yes, I have, Murthy. It was a great episode of Apothecary Diaries.
Mom said the basement was off limits, unless I wanted another tetanus shot.
Otherwise, he would have been arrested, right? Right. Well, somebody must have given them the details for them to know.
I saw Edie sneak down to the basement once, carrying packages.
Oh. For them to know.
I thought maybe she was hiding presents. It turned out she was hiding a lot more than that.
What the fudge?
I remember asking Mom once about where Walter had gone.
Yo!
She said after Barbara died, he got as far away as he could.
Uh-huh. Yo!
If there's a pattern in all these stories, I think it's that none of us has gotten very far.
2005.
Goodbye, everyone. I can't believe I've been down here for 30 years. On that first day, after the shaking started, I didn't think I'd survive a week. But after a few days, I settled into a routine. That's what kept me sane. Having a schedule, living for today.
Right.
I always expected to be dead tomorrow. But if you wait long enough, you get used to anything.
What the?
Even a monster on the other side of the door starts to feel normal. Almost friendly.
Yeah, 1976.
And then one day, everything just
2005.
stopped. Whatever that thing was, it was gone. Maybe it got tired of waiting. Or maybe I just got tired of being afraid. It's been a week now, the longest in 30 years.
Ooh.
I'm done waiting. I have to leave while I still can.
My God.
I know it's out there somewhere. Whatever killed Barbara and Molly.
So he thinks
and
it's like
Calvin.
he thinks it's like a curse or something, yeah? What is this though? Ah, his trash pile.
Maybe this is all a mistake. But I need to stop living the same day, even if it kills me. Whatever's out there, I want you to know I'm ready for it. I'm going to appreciate all of it, especially the food.
Oh no.
I don't mind if I only have a year left. Or a month. Or a single week. I'd be happy with one new day. I can already imagine the sun on my face.
What the fuck?
Walter died when I was 6.
What the fuck?
I can't believe my mom never told me he was down here.
What the fuck? Oh, fuck. Literally steps out and instantly gets taken out by the train. Oh my god, dude. This family's just wrecked. Couldn't you have
I'm
stepped
sure
to
my
these-
mom was trying to protect me.
Met the mole man. Yeah, this was probably the mole man, right? Oh my god, though. Okay, now
Maybe
that you're
she was
uncomfortable,
afraid I'd end up like Walter.
say that this is a curse, right? Let's say that you were, like, would you guys stay in this house or would you leave? If this is like a type of curse that affects family members of this, would you stay in this house or would you leave? Would you find another place to go? Nice argument. Unfortunately, Uncle Walters is inside.
But if she never told me about an uncle under the house,
I
can only imagine what else she was hiding.
Yeah, this is fucking wild.
I don't want to make the same mistakes she made. Trying to bury something that's still alive. Now
Yeah,
that
that's
there's only one of us left,
cool.
or maybe 2. I thought it was time I heard the stories for myself
Sure.
and found out what happened to everyone else. But now I'm worried the stories themselves might be the problem. Maybe we
Right.
believed so much in a family curse, we made it real.
Walter. Walter. They even put a little train cap on you. I'm not sure if that's respectful or disrespectful. Walter. Oh shit.
I don't know if I should even be writing this.
Right. This is a beautiful game. Let me just start off by saying, like, I've gotten, like, goosebumps and whatnot playing this game right now because of the layers of depth that it's had with the person trying to reconnect with family history and the curse and all of these things.
Maybe it'd be better if all this just died with me.
Oof. Solar lights, I'm guessing.
But I thought you should know about your family.
Oh. Oh.
And the history you're a part of. Though to be honest, I feel as lost as you probably do right now.
She's talking to us that are reading the journal.
I think the people in these stories believed them, for what that's worth.
Yeah, I mean, Well, I mean, it says family history, so it must mean that we're more than likely gonna have to be like a kid or a grandkid or something like that.
And when you look at the house,
Uh-huh.
had that history of imagination and stubbornness and madness. Any of it seems possible.
Yeah, but for Anoda, who's not to say that this isn't past tense? So the journal that we're reading, who's not to say that there ain't other people in that tree and we're just picking up from Edith's perspective at the moment? That's where my mind instantly goes into, is if this is a curse, stay away from this place altogether. Like, you would not want anyone coming back into this if this is a curse. But if it's more than that...
I think we've been surrounded by death for so long, we've just gotten used to it.
Right.
What kind of family finishes building a cemetery before starting the house?
True.
It's embarrassing for me to admit this, but the pet cemetery made me more uncomfortable than the human one. 3 of the gerbils are mine, and 2 had been my fault.
Oh, Derpy Jr., Burpy, Chirpy, Furpy, Lurpy, Zerpy. Oh, Charlie the cat. Lucy. Oh, Coco. Fuck. Bailey, Oliver. My heart.
Sven built the house, but it was Edie who designed the cemetery.
Molly, Calvin, Sven, Edie, Walter, Barbara.
I'm sure Odin's monument had been Edie's idea. My mom was always trying to move on, but for Edie, the past never went away.
With the house sinking?
She could see it poking out of the water at low tide.
Oh shit. Literally, the symbolism in this. So that's the old house over there. It was so close. So close, yet so far away. Wow.
Edie said she dreamed about the old house every night.
Wow. Guess we head on back.
Edie's side was always easier for me to understand.
Right.
But the older I get, the more I can see where my mom was coming from.
Sam Finch, Gus.
Her dad had been pretty strict, but it wasn't enough to save her brothers. She was just trying to do better.
Oh, we took a separate road. Okay.
She lost 2 of her brothers, just like I did. I get why she tried so hard to protect us.
Damn, you guys are losing so many, like, family members. It's
We
crazy.
never found Milton's body, so my mom insisted we were putting up a monument, not a tombstone. There's so many things I wish I could ask my mom now. Part of me thinks this is what she wanted all along. For me to come back someday.
Ooh.
And find everything out for myself.
Break the cycle. Break the cycle. This cycle of trauma here. This cycle of just cementing the generational trauma that has come through from all of this. Imagine this. Imagine you're a kid and you're learning all of this. This is just gonna like hit on those aspects of guilt that we were talking about previously, and probably cement them even further. Like,
But looking back on it now,
yeah,
if she told me there was going to be so much climbing, I never would have come when I was 22 weeks pregnant.
oh, 22 weeks pregnant. Oh. Oh my. Oh my.
I never met Grandpa Sam, but I think he and my mom
What is she
had a lot
doing?
in
Right.
common.
Ah, that makes sense. Look at the little Billy. Look at the little Billy. But still, what is she doing here, dude?
They
This
looked
family
pretty
just wanted kids to
intense.
do. Right. Sam. Also, she's 17 in this. Oh.
Dawn, I promise, you'll never forget this weekend.
Yes, sir.
These memories are gonna last a lifetime.
Mm-hmm. Am I gonna have to shoot anything?
It's a hunting trip, Dawn. Shooting is strongly encouraged. Perfect.
It's gonna rain the whole weekend, isn't it?
How do I capture rain?
Please just take the damn picture.
Hey, language.
I will never forget this weekend, Dad.
That's the spirit. Okay, got it.
Aww.
I'm gonna take some pictures, okay?
Just be careful. That camera's older than you are.
Aw. You're right, Dad. It's starting to clear up. Still freezing, though.
This is cute. This is beyond cute. Alright, what else do I need to take a picture of? Huh? What else needs a picture? I'll make the birds a focal point. Nice little picture game here. Trying to see what they want me to take a picture of. Anything? Do you guys see it? Am I missing it? I'm taking pictures of. I'm taking pictures of wet wood. Missing the pile of dead bodies to the right. I assumed it was going to be that. These are logs, guys. They're not dead bodies. They're logs. I can't back out. Dad's gonna be so mad at the layers of random pictures I have. He's gonna be like, why'd you take so many pictures? Try finding her dad. If he's drowning in the water, I swear to God. That's as far in as I can go, chat. Swan. Where is he? What remains of Edith Finch? But you have a really bad camera guy. Trying to find a reason to take a photo. Look at the details. Alright, chat. I need help. I need help. The debt her mom's countless pictures cost to this day. It's gonna be more than just that. Alright, chat, I need help. What do you guys want me to go and take a picture of? Because I can't find it. Where is this father? I'm all the way to the right. Yeah, pre-watched 100%.
Should not have drunk all that coffee. Hey!
That's a keeper. I still want to take a picture of you.
I'm just saying, I'm not always gonna be here, Dawn. You'll need to remember this stuff, if you want to survive.
I'll be fine, Dad.
You know who else thought he was gonna be fine?
Some guy who died.
Found him.
I'm being serious.
I know, Dad. You're always serious. Doesn't being out here make you want to chill out?
Well, to tell you the truth, I haven't been out here in 20 years.
Bring stuff into focus.
Last time I was with my brother Calvin. Dawn, don't you think you could find something more interesting to photograph?
Fine. Fish.
Your grandpa Sven taught us how to fish. How to build a fire.
I'll structure it
found an old logging trail. There were deer everywhere.
Dad!
Good eyes, Dawn.
Look at that. Beauty.
Before you take the shot, let me get a picture of you.
Dad, I...
Just breathe.
Aww.
Let me get behind you.
Aww. The little...
do this?
Dawn, you don't have to do anything.
This
But
is
if
a
you want
great...
to survive, you'll need to be strong. Great shot, Dawn!
Ooh.
I'm proud of you, Dawn. Always remember that, okay?
Dad, it's twitching. I think
That's
it's
totally
still...
normal, Dawn. Just focus on the camera. Try not to think about...
Dad!
What the fuck? No!
Of all the
No!
stories, that's the one I wish most that my mom had told me.
What the fuck? Oh dear. Oh dear. So you mean to tell me, always confirm your kill, the amount of trauma that this would bring with it? Wow. First off, like, no wonder you don't really want to touch base on elements like this. Shika noko noko wilding. Wow. And then I'm assuming that's a picture of them. My God.
Sam spent his life shooting photos, but Mom said he got nervous being in front of the camera. I guess we're all afraid of something.
Right. Okay, well, before we get in there.
Instead of hiding from death, Sam seemed to go out of his way to meet it.
Right. Airline ticket. Edith Finch. Whew. Let's be honest about it. That's gruesome. That's a imagine being a kid and seeing your dad fall and not be able to go and get back up, and they're struggling, and man, the trauma from her mom must have been real too.
After Sam died, my mom and Edie got really close. They'd both lost a lot.
Whew. Gregory. Lawsuit has been filed against you. You have 20 calendar days after the summons is served. If you do not take action in response time, you may lose the case.
Dear Kay, do you remember the way Gregory used to laugh when he thought he was alone? Like something funny was happening, but only he could see it. I think he saw things the rest of us don't.
Princess Tutu? Princess Tutu. Oh no. You gotta be careful, especially with the little kid. They can drown in a little bit of water.
Sam, I told you I don't want to talk right now.
Oh
I don't know
no.
what he saw. his world was like. He reminded me so much of Calvin.
Oh. Oh. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. What the fuck? The amount of trauma, dude. Oh.
But I know what happened wasn't your fault.
Oh.
I'm sure he's happy. He'd want you to be happy too. Good luck, Kay. Love, Sam.
Why they gotta... Oh. Oh, what the fuck, dude? I'm over here just hearing... Oh. Bro, what the fuck? Uh, uh. Losing a kid, man. I can't even imagine the amount of pain that they must have gone through. Like, losing a sibling, losing a parent, losing a kid. Like, damn. The amount of pain and, you know, the aspects of blame and guilt that come through with that. Wow. Wow. And I'm over here tearing up and crying and shit. Like, God, guys. God. This game's amazing. This game is beautiful in of itself. But, like, that hurts. It hurts.
I can't imagine my mom ever writing poetry, and yet...
A poem for Gus, who always said the wedding was a bad idea. Our father never hit us kids, at least not very hard, before the day my brother said with teenage disregard that he'd be dead before he'd see a wedding in our yard.
Oh.
My father made him come, of course, but Gus stood far apart, just flew his kite and bottled up the storm inside his heart.
Oh no.
I tried to talk him out of it, but though he'd never met her, "We don't need a stepmom," were the words that I remembered.
Husband and wife. You may kiss the bride.
Soren. Oh my goodness.
When the time for photos came, Dad ordered him to come here. But Gus declined and as a sign held up his middle finger. The wind picked up and panicked geese appeared and quickly went. But all the humans did that day was go inside the tent.
Oh no. Oh no. Alright, where are you, words? Words up upon the sky. Where are you, words? Oh, okay, they're down here.
The rain came down in buckets then, but no one seemed afraid that nature might destroy the tent our dad had crudely made.
Ooh. Let's pick up even more.
The thunder sounded much too close and full of angry power. But all my father said to this was, "Make the music louder."
Ooh.
I wish that I could truly say I thought about you on that day. Out there on the beach alone, just you, the wind, the sea, and foam. But I didn't. Until we found you.
Oh. Oh. And why would you write it like that, dude? Oh my god.
She never talked about him, but Mom told me once if I was a boy, they were going to name me Gus.
Dude, this is literally like trauma after trauma after trauma. Like, if only the parents would have been also careful about what the kid was doing or brought him along with them, or... Wow. Sweep trash. Gus, yeah. Quiet time at 11 p.m.
My mom moved up to the loft after her brothers died. At the time, it was as far away as she could get.
Right. But this still being your room? Is anybody else gonna comment on how traumatizing this would be? You as a young adult coming through, and you still have to see the memories of your dead siblings. Like, oh my god, dude.
She spent a summer building houses in Calcutta, where she met my dad, Sanjay.
Okay, 1986. All the houses are memory of the dead, right? Fly to India, pack. Whew. Orcas Island High School. Alrighty.
My mom moved to India a week after graduation and got a job teaching English. Lewis was born a year later.
Damn, that was quick too. Yeah, this ain't the safest.
When my dad died, I don't think Mom knew where else to go. I'm sure Edie was happy to have her back.
Sure, Edith.
And to see kids in the house again. The house had to get a little bigger, but Edie was used to that.
A year later, 9 months for pregnancy, so she got pregnant 3 months after moving. Yeah, it was quick.
And for a while, things were good. Almost normal.
Dude. Our family history, fact or fiction. Baby any percent speedrun. So then you
didn't last.
So they were homeschooled along with it. The myth, the curse, the history.
The beginning of the end was Milton's 10th birthday, when Edie gave him a castle. After Milton disappeared, the only thing he left behind was a room full of paintings.
Shit. How safe is this, though?
I think Edie was happy to finally have another painter in the family.
It's beautiful painting. I mean, these are awesome.
Milton Finch in The Magic Paintbrush.
Ready, chat? Whoa! Oh, Milton.
I was 4 when Milton disappeared.
Milton. Oh. You little prince. This is an insane room, though, for a 9-year-old. Like, the amount of injuries and stuff that can happen from this for a 9-year-old. The Unfinished Swan.
Mom spent months searching for my brother. Then she sealed the doors.
Of course she did. Of course she did.
Whatever Milton had found in the house, Mom didn't want it getting out.
But look at that, like the amount of danger that this house has. And either way, slip, fall, go all the way through, like this is... Wow. I love that you can feel the heaviness of this game, right? With the tones it's presenting, but it's presenting it in a way that is not like overwhelming us. I was climbing trees and scary.
Mom definitely blamed Edie, but I think Louis blamed himself.
Right.
After he graduated, he just spent more and more time in his room. Until Mom got him a job at the cannery.
But why would we not clean out the other rooms? Why did we keep building up? Louis.
Everyone always told me to stay out of Louis's room. Except Louis.
Whoa. So he was more of an adult, definitely, with all the...
Louis's room smelled very, very familiar. That part of him lived on.
The San Juan ale. I wonder why it smells familiar, huh? Huh? Legalize marijuana. I wonder why this smelled... No, I'm not trying to go out. I'm trying to come in. No, why am I going out? Okay, we're going in.
Louis and I spent a lot of time playing games together, but he was surprisingly bad at them. He died a lot.
Oof. I guess in the games and IRL, right? He had a big screen TV, a little fridge here. Damn. The Red King streams. What a setup.
Dear Mrs. Finch, as Lewis's psychiatrist, I can understand your desire for an explanation. As I see it, the trouble began in January, shortly after we convinced your son to seek treatment for substance abuse.
Whoa!
Newly sober, I believe Lewis first noticed the monotony of his daily life.
Okay, hold on. I want to touch base on this. A psychiatrist or a psychologist's job is not to convince you that you need help. Right, or that you are dependent on substances. That's up to the individual to come to terms with and seek that help if they need it. A good psychologist, a good psychiatrist is not going to go ahead and be like, immediately, let's go ahead and remove it. If the substances aren't affecting, say, your everyday skills or your everyday whatnot, and it's not a disruption to your everyday life, like let's say weed, right? Because weed for a long time, and it still is in a lot of areas in the world, seen as like a major thing that needs reformation, and that people should have to go inpatient to go get help and need like a detox clinic and 1,001 things. And it's like, wait a minute, is it affecting their life, or are they using it as a coping mechanism to deal with their life? And there's a lot of different steps and processes and, you know, aspects that go into it, but it can be a dangerous game if it doesn't come from the individual, like where they convince themselves that they need help, and more so that outside in people want them to change. If you push someone to change, is that change going to happen, or are they going to relapse and relapse hard? And that's the questions that I have when I'm looking at this, and I see that thing about, you know, oh well, we convinced him
at the cannery, but
like,
he withdrew part of himself.
Right.
In our sessions, I saw the same behavior. His mind began to
disassociate.
Wander.
Disassociate. Because you...
I asked him to describe it. He said he started small, imagining a labyrinth.
How dangerous is this, though? Because the fish are...
He'd feel his way about. Then something moved. Bats. And toads.
Whoa.
And things that have not names. He knew it was all in his head.
Yes.
But he took it very seriously. I had hoped he'd find himself. But he found something more. I worried about him then.
And he kept
Daydreaming
growing
at
his
the
little
cannery.
labyrinth. Oh.
I spoke with his boss.
Why would you do that? Did he give you an ROI for that? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. There's so many questions that I have. It's why would she do this if did he give her an ROI to go and speak with other people outside of his immediate care? If he's disassociating like this, then maybe the issue isn't so much.
But he said Lewis had become a model employee.
Yeah, because he's doing his job.
Methodical, tireless, focused.
ROI is a release of information. Any good psychologist, psychiatrist, therapist, case manager, whatnot, cannot contact an individual outside of your care team without an ROI, because otherwise we're breaking HIPAA. We're breaking any form of release of information for medical information that's being shared, because we're showcasing that you are getting help with a psychologist or a therapist or whatever, right? Ooh. Ooh. But is he even happy if he's just drowning himself out like this?
Like a whole new Lewis.
He's probably masking
So I let him
hard.
go
This
on.
is that's your failure. I want to fight the psychiatrist.
I even encouraged him. It seemed very promising at first.
He's disassociating.
He told me he'd made a new friend. On the edge of a city he named Lewis Topia. He built the city up slowly, brick by brick. Then he made musicians.
You guys see how it's taking up more and more of the screen here? It's taking up more and more of his thought patterns.
And songs for them to play.
And it's
He talked
becoming
about
much
starting
more
a band.
detailed, right?
And he was always humming something. Every day his imagination grew stronger.
I can't even tell if there's a fish in here or not now. Oh, there it is.
He no longer spoke at the cannery. But his chopping was as reliable as ever. Then one day it struck him that all the cheering crowds, even the stones under his feet,
We're all fate.
were all in his imagination. So he could do whatever he wished.
Yep. Hey.
He held an election for mayor. And he won.
Just like Mario.
They begged him to stay, but his mind was already wandering.
Right.
It became a game for him.
Look at this, man. This is getting so dangerous right now. And the thing is, a lot of people do this. A lot of people that I've met that, like, you know, either get medicated, they're on the spectrum, neurodivergent, whatnot. There's a lot of, unfortunately, there's still a lot of therapy and psychology out there that isn't appropriate,
He'd
and that
conquer
they
a
tell
city,
people to
then
mask.
immediately push on.
They tell people to go ahead and disassociate, and that disassociating is better than actually, you know, being able to go ahead and work on their symptoms. So look at how dangerous this is getting. And is he even being happy if he's just going through and disassociating as hard as he is right now?
New Louisville.
This is...
St. Louis.
Is he even living life if the only place that he feels he can...
He started drifting away from our reality.
The only place that he can be at is... Oh.
Minneapolis. Until one day he forgot to go home from the cannery. Even as his mother pleaded with him, part of Louis kept sailing on.
Yeah, but why didn't the factory shut him down?
In Louisburg, he heard rumors of a...
Oh, a beautiful prince or a handsome queen?
Handsome queen.
Oh, okay. I could go with beautiful prince. I like how like no one has
the
come
queen
through
was on her own quest for
radiant rainbows.
Radiant rainbows.
Do I touch him?
He followed the sound of her.
There we are. Oh my god, it's consumed the entire thing. Chat, it's consumed the entire thing. Oh shit. Oh shit, I don't even know. It's gonna get me. Oh my god, dude, that's...
He knew the world was all in his imagination.
Yeah, but unfortunately they had such a bad care team here that instead of seeing this as a red flag, they just thought, oh, he's doing good work, instead of, hey, you know what? Inside he's screaming and he's escaping into this. Oh my god. Brother.
But he was so proud of having created it. In his own eyes, he'd become something greater than a king.
You guys can tell how scared I am, huh?
For someone who'd never known success in the real world, I think it was overwhelming.
Emperor.
And then
God
it struck
King.
him that the real Louis was not the one chopping salmon, but the one climbing the steps of a golden palace.
No. Okay.
My imagination is as real as my body, he told me.
Huge red flag. Huge red flag. And you're not going to say, hey, you know what? Maybe you should stop working for a bit. Maybe disassociating on the job isn't necessarily the greatest thing.
It's hard to argue with him.
Oh, no. Who gave you your license? Imperial Palace. He has his like Nintendo 2DS.
He began to forget the world we know.
Oh. Oh, literally.
I think it pained him to remember Louis, the cannery worker.
Post-modernity consumed him. Hello?
He began to despise the man with a royal contempt.
and no one's come through and checked on him. No one's come through to ask him, like, how you doing? No one's been coming through and asking him, like, yo, what are you, like, you know, what are your thoughts? He's literally just full on escaped. Like, his body's going through the motions, but he's no longer there. His mom did once.
I still thought I could save him.
Right.
Even after he said he was being crowned king over all the lands of wonder. The palace would be packed with his companions.
Oh, man.
Including the wise Calico who'd insisted on advising him.
Oh, man. Is it Molly the cat?
His queen waited, holding his crown.
Something, he's gonna chop off his hand or something, right?
There was only one thing left to do.
No. This is why disassociation needs to be touched on immediately. Especially when it starts getting to a point where it's affecting your everyday life. Because once you start masking like this, if you're not careful, you're not going to be able to go out and see some of these signs. And people would rather escape into this world than have to deal with the monotony of everyday life. Oh, God. Oh, God. Cammy coming in here. It's time to isekai. My heart literally breaks at the thought of this because you know how much, like, turmoil a lot of people go into as they're trying to escape into their inner world to try and not, like, you know, get through the day, get through whatever circumstances that life throws at them. And it's... Oh. All right, chat. Mini break. Go to the restroom. Grab a drink, grab a snack. When we come back, we're going to go ahead and see this through. All right, little break, go. I'm back. Oh, man. Holy shit, though. Holy shit. All right, here we go. You guys ready? Is everyone back? I hope they are. YouTube, I hope you guys are enjoying this in-depth run and, you know, sort of talking a little bit about the circumstances that may come through with situations like this. Please, if you see a psychologist that are ignoring symptoms like this, or a therapist or psychiatrist in this way, seek other professional help as well. Guys, an active care team should be caring for you in all regards. And disassociation, while everyone can disassociate, disassociating heavily is a symptom of concern. Okay.
The rest I think you know. Mrs. Finch, your son was a kind man who will be missed by all of us who knew him.
Nah, the board probably ate the psychiatrist up.
My brother was really cool. I wish you could have met him.
Pick that back up. I have some questions here. Okay, here we go. Has Chase led him to a golden palace east of the sun and west? Even though the logic, he began to forget the world we knew. I think he refined it. The palace would be packed with his companions bent on his invest. Oof, oof. Why would she? Why would she even? Man. Oh, and he was taking meds too. And they didn't think about I don't know, adjusting the medication. If he was disassociating this heavily, it might also be, aside from monotony, any medication that was being given. My God, dude. My God. Okay, here we go. This hurts because I know a lot of people disassociate. A lot of people struggle as well.
On the way back from Lewis's funeral, my mom told me to start packing.
Makes sense.
She waited until the day before we left to tell Edie. I'm not sure if she wanted to make it easier or harder.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was smoking with meds too.
I wish we'd stayed. But I understand why we left. My mom ended up leaving everything behind.
Whew. Dawn Finch, to teach, to learn.
What happened that night had been coming for a long time.
Oh.
Maybe it should have come sooner.
But
But it had to end one way or another.
sure.
All that's left now was to tell you about that last night. That whole last day, Edie just watched us pack and didn't say a word. Until supper, when she raised her glass and said,
"To our final night together, and all our final nights apart."
Grandma, you know what I said about alcohol. Some of your medications are very
Edith,
specific.
I left a present for you in the
Oh.
hallway. Why don't you go open it? The grown-ups have to argue now.
I'm sorry, you're right. We're all leaving tomorrow. Let's just enjoy our last...
I'm not leaving.
Edith, you're excused.
Oh, no.
The power had been shut off that morning, but Edie always had plenty of candles. When my mom sealed the library, I don't think she knew about the other entrance. Or that Edie had a key to it.
Yeah, I don't know why it's doing this. This is really weird. Anyway, we should be back. Sorry about that, YouTube. And we're back. Sorry about that. Sometimes stream can be wild and chaotic like that and go up and down and whatnot. But anyway, as we were playing.
I think it's best if Edith and I leave tonight. We'll have the nursing home send a van for you in the morning.
Wow. She's going to be gone come morning. History of the Finches.
Dear Edith, there's so many stories I wish I could tell you, but there's only time for one. This is about what happened on the night you were born.
Oh.
That night, the tide went way, way out.
Holy.
It was the first and last time I ever saw the old house aground. There'd been an earthquake out in the middle of the ocean. They called it the lowest tide in 1,000 years. God, it smelled awful. You know, I've seen that house every day of my life.
So why are we running to it?
But I never thought I'd go back to it.
Oh no.
When the fog rolled in, I lost my way. I got turned around.
We have to be following the red dot.
For a while, I wandered. I started seeing things. Things I'd forgotten had ever existed. But when I saw them, they felt like old friends. That night, a lot of things came back to me.
Whoa.
Or maybe I came back to them.
You still have the latch
Can't
on it.
explain, but that I need you to try and...
Edith, what are you doing in here?
It's mine.
Edith!
Mom, you're gonna rip it. Let go.
It's mine, Mom. It's mine.
I kicked and screamed, but Mom dragged me to the car, and I never saw Great Grandma Edie again. The next morning, the van came to pick her up, but she was already gone.
Yeah.
After that, we moved around a lot.
I'm a dolphin. Oh, it's Friday.
We both tried
Friday.
to make the best of it.
Gotta get down on Friday. Looking forward to the weekend. Oh.
A few years went by.
A few years.
My mom didn't like to talk about it. But she started getting sick a lot. The rest happened pretty quickly.
Oh no.
She got better for a while, and then she didn't. And then I was alone. The last Finch left alive. Until I found out about you.
Holy crap, dude.
I'm still not sure what to tell you about all this. If we lived forever, maybe we'd have time to understand things. But as it is, I think the best we can do is try to open our eyes. And appreciate how strange and brief all of this is.
Right.
This journal was supposed to be for you. But now I hope you'll never see it.
Good. I don't know why you.
I just want to meet you and tell
kept
you all
writing
these
it.
stories myself. But I guess if you're reading this now, things didn't work out that way.
Bruh.
This is where your story begins. I'm sorry I won't be there to see it. It's a lot to ask, but I don't want you to be sad that I'm gone. I want you to be amazed that any of us ever had a chance to be here at all. Good luck.
Why would you write this for them? Why would you write this for them? Like, why would you bring them? Why would you bring them back into this? Oh. Oh. I have some feelings behind this for Shirley Dallas. Oh. It's a family tradition at this point, just shy of 18. Like, my feelings are this, right? I mean, if it were my kid, I'd like to know, but it's a bit, yeah. It's like, considering everything that was happening and whatnot, if I had a feeling that my family history had this much trauma and whatnot, generational trauma, I don't think I would feel, it's her belly, yeah, leaving a legacy. I wouldn't feel comfortable for that curse or that aspect to continue on forward. So pretty sure the implication is that the family has a long history of mental disease. It's not just that, like there's a lot of instances where a lot of lives were taken because people weren't looking out for one another. There was like a aspect of like overconfidence or, you know, so on and so forth. Like let's take away the curse element for a bit, and a lot of the deaths can be explained because of just like negligence in some capacity, lots of parental neglect, lots of forms of like, you know, neglect altogether, if we're gonna be honest about it, right? For safety standards, for 1,001 things in this regard. But number two, it's, yeah. See Johan's name in the ending? Oh, could come from mental diseases. One of many. Mental neglect can come from 1,001 other aspects as well, or simply accidents, right? Combinations of things: neglect, mental issues, straight up unlucky. Yeah, it's a good number of things, and for me, it's, as we're highlighting this, first off, what a game. I love the way that this narrative was told, right? Loving the way that this narrative is being told, and loving the way that, like, we literally went through it. But also, would you guys go back to a house like this? Would you guys invite your kids to go back to a house where everyone's been traumatized, or everyone has like suffered or died in, or, you know, to an extreme capacity, like Sam died because of a deer. Yeah, because of a deer. What is it? I forgot her name. The actress girl died because people raided into the house and did 1,001 things. Structural integrities. Yeah. The other guy died because of a train. But so insidious at the same time. Yeah. Barbara. There we go. Thank you for Barbara. Wow. Overall, guys, what do you think about this game? For me, this game really does highlight a little bit of the aspects, everything behind for that kid. So why not write the diary? I think for me, it's more fucked up to leave. This is my opinion, right? I think it would have been better for it to just been a clean slate for the kid to go out and, you know, some way, shape, or form find out his own self, right? Whatever that may have been. Then in a way to bring back the kid to a house that might be cursed, if we're to take the cursed aspect of things. On the other hand, you do have the philosophy of this kid maybe growing up and eventually finding out about what happened in some capacity. Regardless, but that would mean she knows that the birth, yeah, but that would mean that she knows that the birth was risky. Regardless, though, you figure out that perhaps he should. It's not all mental health issues, though. Discarded. Like the end. Oh, like that's the key thing with this. It's not all mental health issues that were being presented in here. And even having a psychiatrist, right? Having the psychiatrist didn't necessarily do justice in that aspect. Yeah, I've seen the analysis where they propose that Eddie is the villain of the story because she forced the curse to be real to justify their shortcomings. Has a rather high maternity mortality for a first-rate nation. So even with the psychiatrist, for example, Lewis was over-medicated. Now I wouldn't even say over-medicated. He was like, you know, using substances and probably at the same time taking medication, going through all of this, right? But also, Edith didn't know the full story before going through what would be projected off as not knowing, just projecting to be onto her child. Yeah, maybe the diary is more of her trying to write than for her the kid to read. Could be done that way as well, absolutely. But let's touch on this immediately, right? Which is number one: is there generational trauma in this family? Yes, there is. Number two: were there instances of guilt, like that may have driven Edith to come back, as we were touching on earlier in the sessions? The sense of guilt, the sense of like trust versus mistrust, all of these things that we're talking about. Who am I? Where am I going? Adolescence, all of these milestones, they were affected in some way, shape, or form. She had guilt over leaving Eddie. She had guilt over losing her, like, you know, even though it might not ping to you guys, losing a brother, losing a sibling, losing a family member, that can definitely impact your developmental milestones. Not just one, but losing the other one as well. All of a sudden, there's huge instances of guilt of who am I? Where am I going? What does this mean for me? And guess what? What is the huge aspect that she threw onto her kid as well? What is the big thing that she left behind in her diary for her kid? Who am I? Where am I going? And if I don't meet you, this is who I am. Fuck, dude. It's a really, really amazing way to conceptualize this character, and it's a way to conceptualize how trauma can keep going, and how generational trauma can keep impacting us, even out of things that are outside of our control. Right? Let me bring this up as well. Right? So throughout this entire thing, what was something that became very apparent? The defense mechanisms that are in here, right? Everyone has a different defense mechanisms. A lot of times there was a lot of projecting that was happening out there, right? This curse is real, therefore, you know, we have to go ahead and leave it, placing one's unacceptable thoughts onto the others as if the thoughts belong to the others, to them, and not to oneself, right? It's a lot easier to go ahead and project out our insecurities, what we believe is happening, so on and so forth, and to accept that, hey, maybe if we would have been more active and done certain things, we would be able to go ahead and overcome a lot of these horrific things that were happening to our family. Sam threw himself at death as if taunting it to take him. Yeah. So whenever we're looking at this, we can look at the 1,001 things that were happening. Where it's a little kid that ate ate a lot of the things that were out there and ended up, like, you know, taking their life, right? The kid that was swinging on the swing set ended up going over and, you know, take, again, another aspect of parents not putting safeguards. Sam with the deer, right? Even though, you know, his daughter told him like, hey, the deer's still twitching. He's like, oh yeah, that's totally normal. And it ended up being, hey, deer stands up, took his life, right? There's a lot of instances like this where, like, even though it might come from pure luck, from pure scenario, whatnot, and not even necessarily a mental health perspective of like, oh, it's because they're going through that she didn't want to shoot the deer. Yeah, but nonetheless, he was taking her hunting, right? That was the end regard in that, which caused even more trauma. So the trauma just kept cascading down the line of like trauma, generational trauma, and more, losing your kids from trying to take a call and coming back and finding out that, you know, they were gone. All of these things, for me, it just exemplifies, like, number one, we all need to look out for one another, our actions and our inactions. And then number two, in a situation like this, sometimes things are out of our control, how we live and how we die, right? But the only thing that we should be able to go ahead and take care of is our surroundings. We don't want necessarily something to come out of nowhere and affect us because we took a wrong choice, or we picked the wrong path, or we ended up eating, I don't know, a poison berry or something. So it's got to come from us actively knowing and engaging with the actions that we take, right? And making sure that they're safe actions, i.e., please don't cross medication with substances and go to work. And if you're already disassociating, make that worse. Please seek out mental health help if you're going through something like that. Tell someone, right, in that environment, because as we can tell, he was going through quite a bit. Her other brother that just disappeared and probably went off somewhere or was probably taken, out of our control, right? but instances where, hey, maybe we shouldn't have built up and we should have stayed inside the house. And we could have been able to go ahead and like lock the doors to the house and make it a little bit safer. Same thing that happened to Barbara there, in terms of like, hey, maybe Barbara should have left with us if we're going to the hospital. And all of these things, they all culminate to little decisions that have a bigger impact. Fantastic game. Fantastic game. I really loved a lot of these stories that we were hearing, because all of these stories ended up affecting the characters all along the way in such a beautiful way that I was tearing up. I was tearing up throughout this game. You guys saw it. But guys, with that being said, let me go and throw this out there to you guys. What did you guys think about this game when you guys first played it? Did you guys feel as though this was more of a curse? Question of what remains of Edith Finch. Myth making or neglect. For me, it's a bit of like, you know, because you can take either way. The psychological version of this, right? In one of the key aspects, aside from philosophy, right? Philosophy is different than psychology. Is that there was a lot of actions or inactions that were happening. Everyone has their, like in our life, we all go through a severity of things, ups and downs. Unfortunately, if we're not active in the care of our loved ones, our kids, our family members, neglect, small little bits of neglect can come by and can affect us and can take a life. Subconsciously taking actions that lead to curse being able to take effect. Exactly. And even more so, cementing the idea that this curse is there, or so on and so forth, and passing it on to future generations. Guess what? A lot of that gives an individual the narrative aspect of control, so that like if they see this curse thing, it's not going to be like, oh, I'm just having a bad day, or this happened. If you were the kid and you received this book and you see like all of these things being framed as a curse by your mom who's no longer here, what's going to happen the first time that something really bad happens in your life? You're more than likely, instead of taking action and taking it in and taking action upon that, you're going to think, oh, well, this is a family curse. And that for me screams everything. That's why whenever I'm looking at this game, so that kid is doomed. Whenever I'm looking at this ending, it's an impactful ending, because it's like, on the one hand, yes, you know what, he's able to go there and, you know, put the flowers on Edith's grave. But on the other hand, it's like, hey, this kid is probably already seeing the mom's narrative, as we saw the narrative of everything that was happening, and talking about the curse and everything that happened, the guilt and everything associated with it. Guess what? Your mom's gone. First bad thing that happens in your life, you're probably going to blame it on the curse. You're probably not going to be like, hey, you know what? Some bad thing happened. It was an ineptitude. And the action of not being able to let go. Yeah, it's going to be rough. It's going to be a rough thing, but that happens everywhere. Unfortunately, all of our families in some way, shape, or form have stories and have elements that we're not able to fully let go or heal from, right? He will not have further empathy, might turn out all right. Not necessarily discarded. And that's really what I'm getting at, is if this was just a random diary, it's a random diary. But this is a diary directly from his deceased mom, who's influenced him enough already to go and see this place. So that already showcases to me that this mom's influence, right, Edith's influence, he cares a lot about her enough to go through and check out this place and lay flowers, even as a sentimental value. So therefore, the narrative, the story that she's sharing, probably holds equal value to him in some capacity. So it more than likely does have an influence on him. And even more so, that's going to have an influence on him, again, might be this idea of a curse. It might be this idea that we're all fated to die. And if this curse is there, then does something really mean something? Can I take responsibility for my actions if I know the fact that this curse is going to come through and take me out? By curse, I mean parentheses on curse. It's really interesting dialogue, nonetheless. Like, this is what games do, is they strive to make us have a conversation. And I love a conversation like this. Edith Finch, fantastic game. Really, what a fantastic game. And what a good way of making us think about this actively, right? Suppose that Christopher is giving an advantage. Oh, they think that Christopher is giving an advantage? Ooh. Games are art. Yeah, no, games are art. Games are absolute art, and they're absolute beauty. And that's why I want to go ahead and highlight this. And I hope that you guys enjoyed this playthrough of it and some of our discussions, right? of it. Some of our discussions of what's happening in this regard and, you know, what's going through with it. I have not played any of the Silent Hill franchises. I've played a little bit, like just the beginning, but I was always scared because my brother would scare me whenever I would play that game. But overall, I would give this game a solid like 9 out of 10 in terms of the narrative it presented. Like gameplay wise, it's not necessarily, you know, jumping up and yes, this playthrough will go on YouTube at some point. The gameplay wise, this is not necessarily like, oh, the best gameplay in the world as you're just going through it, but the narrative it's telling is so beautifully done that you just get immersed in it and you're hearing all these stories and it's just hitting you beat by beat by beat in such a way that it was beautifully created. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, what would you guys rate this game out of 10? What was your guys' full thoughts about this game as you guys were going through it? Did you guys enjoy it? Was there any story that stood out to you more than the others? Most difficult gameplay, find dad to take a picture of. Yes, most difficult gameplay, find dad and take a picture of him. but I will say though, overall guys, and I guess just highlighting this out there, it's the little things that count in a game. And for me, that little thing meant this narrative that was being presented is delivered in a way that makes advantage of the gaming medium. Very well done. Absolutely. I hope you enjoyed your stay with me. I hope you guys come and join us every Friday and Sunday. We have video game night. And tonight we finished up What Remains of Edith Finch. I thought I was going to break it up into multiple parts, but we did it in one single playthrough and it was absolutely phenomenal. We have finished Slay the Princess, Little Misfortune, and next week we start Franbo and probably the Beginner's Guide. Ladies and gentlemen, after the Beginner's Guide, we have To the Moon and then Death Stranding. But I want to ask you guys down below, please leave your comments. Let me know what video games, what other games should we play here on this channel, especially as we keep going on through with this. The Beginner's Guide, Franbo are up next, along with all the other games. Ladies and gentlemen, please let me know what games you guys want me to go ahead and watch going forward. We still have our anime analysis and reactions that we do, but for me, fantastic game, absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for recommending it. What do you guys think? Did Edith Finch really accidentally pass on that generational trauma and that generational curse, if we really want to call it a trauma curse that way, or did she put an end to it? That is my question for you guys. Guys, I appreciate you coming on through. I'll be responding back in the comments because this game was fucking amazing. Little Georgie's story is going to stick with me, especially playing the frog and Princess Tutu there. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, practice that self-care. You guys are absolutely amazing. And YouTube, subscribe, like, comment, share. It means the world. Let's have a conversation. Join the Discord. I'll catch you guys later.